Hey guys, today we're gonna be making a login system using React for frontend and Firebase for the backend, and this is gonna be our project right here. So once we load the page, this input is gonna be focused, and we're gonna have both the sign up and sign in. So this is sign up right now, but if we click here, this is gonna switch to sign in. And if we try to sign up here, let's say hello at Gmail, or actually just say hello here, we're gonna have an error message showing here. Then let's do gmail.com, and maybe let's not add a password. So the password must be 6 characters long or more. And then once we type the password, we can sign up. And we're gonna be welcome to the home page where we only have a nav and a logout button. And if we log out, that goes back here. And then since we have an account now, we can click on login, and then we're gonna do hello at gmail.com. And I'm gonna do my password, and if we click sign in now, it's gonna sign into that page as well. So a few things we're gonna be needing. I currently have my React project open, so I just cleaned up everything. There's nothing that I added. So we wanna install Firebase first. So we're gonna do npm I Firebase, and while that's installing, I wanna do a few things. Let's go to fonts.google.com. And we're gonna get a font here, which is this one. And we're gonna get a few values. So we're gonna get 300, 4, 6, not italic, semi-bold 6, bold 700. This is also completely optional. This is just a font we're going to be adding. So we're going to paste it right here. And then the next thing here is this line. So before that, I have this code pen I made for you guys. So these are all the styles for the app, because I'm not going to be going over the styles. And I'll leave the link in the description. So you just want to click anywhere. Control A is going to select everything. Control C to copy it. We're going to go to app. We're gonna remove everything from our app, and we're just gonna paste that thing we copied here. And it already has added the font and everything. So these are all the styles we're gonna use. And I'm gonna close the code pen and this. So the next step, we wanna go to firebase.google.com. You're gonna need to log in or sign up. And once you're logged in, you're gonna click go to console, add project, and let's call this login. Click continue. We don't need the Google Analytics, so we're going to disable that and click create project. And while that's creating a project, we can open our terminal here and start our project. So npm start. I already have one project open, so it's going to ask me for another port, but you guys are not going to be able to see this. So I'll just open it here. And I can close this one right here. And we can click continue here. And then if we click web, and we're going to give it the same name we have, which is login. And we can click register app. So that shouldn't take much. And then this is the code we're going to get. So what we want to do with this code first, we want to add it in a file that we're going to create. So if we go back here, inside the source, we're going to create a new file called fire.js. And the things we want to copy is everything inside the script. So just this part. And we want to paste that here. And I'm also going to remove these two comments, initialize Firebase and your web apps configuration. Then on top of that, so line 1, we want to import Firebase from Firebase. And then here, we want to set this equal to a const. So this is going to be const fire equals, so firebase.initialize app and config. And then we want to export this file by doing export default fire. And we can click continue to console here. So we're not going to be changing anything in this file anymore. And then here we can add authentication. So if we click here, we're gonna need to click on setup sign-in. And then here you want to pick email and password, and you want to enable the first option. Click save. And then if we go back, there's nothing else yet. So we're going to go back to our project. We can close the fire.js because we're not going to be adding anything there. So we're going to have a few components, and I'm going to keep all my states inside the app. So if we go to app, let's start adding states that we'll need. So we want to import useState and useEffect from React. These are two hooks we're going to be using. Let's see, why is not defined? Oh, here. So first state we're gonna have here is gonna be for the user. So we're gonna do const user, set user, and we're gonna set that to an empty string. Then we're gonna have two states for our two inputs. One is gonna be for email, so const email, set email equals to useState, empty string as well. And the other input would be our password, so we're gonna make a state for that. Const password, set password equals to useState, and we also want to set that to an empty string. And then we're going to have two states to display the errors, because since we have two inputs, and if we have an error that's related to, let's say, our email, we want to display it under that input. Otherwise, if we have an error that's related to password, we want to display it under the password input. So we're going to make another state called email error and set email error, and we're also going to set that to an empty string, and we're going to make a state for the password error. So password error, set password error here equals to useState, set that to an empty string as well. And another state that we're gonna have is gonna help us switch from sign in to sign up, which you'll see soon. So we're gonna call this has account and set has account, and we're gonna set that initially to false. And these are all the states we're gonna be needing. So the first function we can make is gonna be for login. So let's call it handle login to make it an arrow function, and we need to import fire. So this file we created, fire.js, because we're gonna target that all the time. So let's do import fire from /fire, and then inside our handle login we wanna call that, so fire, we're gonna do .auth .signin with email and password. So these are camel case, so be careful how you write these. So sign in with email and password, and we want to pass email and password that we made. And then under that we want to catch errors, so error, and inside of that we're going to have a switch statement, and all documentation you can find on Firebase, all the error codes they have. So we're going to add switch error.code, and inside of this, the first case we're gonna have, so we're gonna have a case here that's gonna be auth/invalid -email. Then we're gonna have another case, so let's add case here, and this is gonna be auth as well /user disabled. And we're gonna have case here, auth/user not found. And if we got any of these errors, we wanna set our email error state we made. So set email error, and we wanna set it to error.message, like that. Then we wanna do a break here, and then we're gonna have a few more cases. So it's gonna be case auth/wrong-password, and here we want to set our password error instead of email error now, to the same thing, which is going to be error.message. And we're going to add a break here. And that's going to be our handle login function. Then we're going to make a similar function that's going to be handle signup. So handle signup. It's going to be equal to an arrow function. And we can copy this whole thing because they're pretty similar here. It's going to be fire.out. And then instead of sign in with email and password, it's going to be create user with email and password. And we're passing the same thing. And then few things here that we'll need to change because our cases are going to be different. So we're going to remove the last case. And our first case is going to be out / and then we can add something else here. And that's going to be email -already -in -use. And then the second case is going to be invalid -email. And we're again setting email error to that message. And here, instead of wrong password, it's going to be weak password. And we're going to do the same thing. Then we're going to have a function for logout. So we're going to call it handle logout. And this function is going to be pretty small. It's only going to have a single line. So we're going to do fire.out.signout. And that's all there is to a logout function. And then we're going to need a listener that's going to check if user exists and once we sign up and log in. So we're going to call that out listener here. And inside of that, we want to call fire.out.onOutState changed. I'm going to pass user here. And then inside of that, we want to check if there is a user. So if user, we made a state, which is set user here. So if there is a user, we want to set user to that user we passed in. And then we're going to have else. And we're also going to set user, but we're just going to set it to an empty string if there is no user. And then if you remember, we got useEffect at the beginning and we still didn't use it. So we're going to use it right here. So we're going to do useEffect, pass an arrow function, and we're going to leave the empty array here. And what we want to do inside of this is just call this function we just made, which is going to listen for those events. And then that's all there is. We still need to fix few issues with states. So for example, I'm going to make two more functions here at the top. So one is going to be to clear the inputs, just so we make it our code cleaner since I'm holding everything in app. And we're going to set our email, which is our state for our input, to an empty string, and set password also to an empty string. And we're going to make another function here that's going to clear our clear errors. And here we want to set email error to an empty string and set password error to an empty string. So these things, both of these functions are just going to either clear the input we have or clear the errors. So let's scroll down, let's see where we need to add them. So inside the handle login, before the fire, we want to call that function, which is clear errors. And then for our sign up, we want to call the same function. So before the fire, we want to clear errors. And then lastly, we want to clear the inputs. So this function right here. So we want to do that every time we have a user. So every time we log in or sign up, it means that we already have a user, and that's where we want to clear the input and set the user here. And then we're going to need to create few components so we can add these. So I'm going to make a component called login.js. And we're going to create another component called hero.js. So let's go to our login component, and we're gonna import React from React, and then we're gonna do const login, and here we wanna return something, so we're gonna return a section login, and then let's do export default login here. And then I want to import this login component inside my app. So if we scroll all the way here, we're going to import login from ./login. And right now, we're just going to be displaying that single component that we have inside our app. So we can remove the h1 and we're just going to display that login component, right? And this is all we have because we already added the style set beginning. So inside the login function, before we start adding anything, we will need to pass props to the things we'll have here. So a few props we'll need is gonna be our states. So the state for email first. So we're gonna pass email as email, and then we wanna pass set email to update our state. Set email. We wanna do the same thing for our password. So password equals password. And set password equals to set password. And we also wanna pass functions like handle login, because we're all the buttons and everything is gonna be inside the login component. So this will be gonna be handle login. We're gonna need handle sign up. That's another function we made. So once we sign up, we're gonna have has account. That's gonna help us check what we wanna display, the button with sign in or sign up, another way around. We're gonna have set has account, so we can actually toggle the state. So set has account. And we also wanna pass the email error state we made. So email error equals to email error. And we wanna do the same thing for password error here. Password error. So these are all the states we're gonna get inside our login. So if we go here, we need to destructure those states that we need to get. So let's go to our login, and the first thing we wanna do, let's just pass props here, and then we're gonna destructure it here. So we're gonna do const, and we can just copy these. So we can copy the email, paste it in. So all of these values is what we need to copy. So I'll just do that real fast. Make sure you get everything that we passed here, because these are all the functions we're gonna call and the states we're gonna show on the page. So make sure you get everything right here. Just separate them with a comma. And this is the last one. And it's not letting me format, so I'll make it full screen here for a second. And this is gonna be equal to props, and then we can format so it looks a bit nicer. We have some space. So now these are all the props we can use. And also, give me a second. We're not gonna remove anything, we're just gonna add parentheses here because it has weird formatting. So the first thing inside of this we want to add is going to be the login container. So that's going to be our div. Then inside our div we're going to have a label that's going to say username. We don't need HTML4, we just need a label with username. Then under the label we're going to have an input, which is going to be type text. And we're going to add autofocus, so it focuses when the page loads. We're going to add required. And here we want to add these values. So we made two states for our inputs. If we go back here, one of them is email and second one is password. So for the value, we want to add email. Then we're going to have onChange event here. We're going to pass an event. We're going to do set email to that event.target.value. Like that. And then under that input, we're going to display a paragraph with a class name of error message. And we already passed the state here, which is email error, so we can display that here. Then we're going to have another label that's going to be password. If I save this file, you should be able to see a few things already happening on the page. So we're going to have a label that's password, and then here we want to add an input, and type is going to be password. We're also going to add required, and instead of value like email, like we have here, we'll have another state which is password. And then we also need onChange event here. We're again going to pass the event to update our state, which is set password. And we're going to set it to event.target.value. And then under that, we also want to display another error message we made. So we're going to do p.errorMessage to give it that class. And instead of email error, we want to display the password error here. So you're not going to be able to see them right now, but if we change this email error to, let's say, 1, you can see it right here. So that's only going to show once we have errors. And then under that paragraph, we're going to make a div with a class of button container. So ppn container. And inside of that, this is why we made a state which is has account. So this state right here. So we're gonna check if has account is true. And then here we're gonna do else, and we're gonna do something else inside. So what do we wanna do if has account is true? First thing we need, we're gonna add a React fragment, because we're gonna have two things, and I don't wanna add a div. So we're going to have a button, and we're also going to have a paragraph here. And we can just copy both of these here as well. So button, and copy everything with React Fragment. So this button is just going to say sign in. And this paragraph here is going to be don't have an account. And then we're going to add a span here, which is just going to say sign up. And then this button is going to be sign up here. And paragraph is going to be have an account. Let's add some space, and then span inside of that. They're just going to say sign in. So since this state we have is false at beginning, it's gonna show this here. As you can see, let me. So the button that we have that says sign up. So that's showing there. And then we're gonna add a click event. So if we click the button that says sign up, what do we wanna do? Or sign in rather. So this button is sign in. So we have two functions, one for sign in or login and one for sign up. So on the first button, when we sign in, we want to call the function which is handle sign in or handle login, sorry. And then we have handle sign up, which we're going to call when we hit this button, which is sign up. So we're going to call handle sign up. And then the only thing we need to do is toggle the state, which is set has account, because that state is always false and it's always going to show only one button. But we want to toggle it once we click the span. So if it's false, we want to toggle it back to true. If it's true, we want to toggle it back to false. So we're going to add onClick on our span, and we're going to call set has account, and we're going to set it to opposite or just toggle it. And we're going to do the same here on this span. So onClick, pass an arrow function. We're going to call set has account, and we want to toggle it. And then it added something weird, which we're going to remove in a second. So what this is going to do, if we click sign in here, it's going to switch to sign up. If we click sign up, it's going to switch to sign in. So that's the only thing this function does. It just toggles the state to do that, and also switch the buttons from sign in to sign up, as you see here. The inputs are always going to remain the same. And then we can also make our hero component here. We're not going to have much here, just some stuff that you guys can see once we log in, how it looks like. Cons hero. And we already added the styles for everything, so you guys won't need to add anything else. We're gonna have a section of hero. We're gonna have a nav, and inside the nav we're gonna have h2 that says welcome. And we're gonna have a button that says logout. And then we can export default hero. And let's import that hero here. So in line 3, we can import hero from hero. We're still not gonna display it yet. Actually, let's just add it here, because we're gonna need to send a prop, since inside our hero we have a button that's gonna be for us to log out, and we already made a function which is called handle logout. So we're gonna need to pass that to a hero so we can use it on the button here. So let's just add hero for now, and we're gonna pass that function which is handle logout. Handle logout, and then inside the hero we wanna get that value here, or destructure it. And on our button we wanna add onClick event, and we wanna call that function of handle logout. So right now you can see both sections, hero and login. So what we're gonna do is, if you remember, we are checking for the user here. So only if user exists, we're setting the actual user. So we can check for the same thing here. Instead of rendering both components, so before the login we can do user is true. So if user exists, what do we want to do here? So we can render one component if user exists, and we can render another one if the user doesn't exist. So if user exists, we should be on the home page. So we can render this component, which is called hero, but that's our home page. And then we want to add else here. So if user doesn't exist, we don't want him to go to home page. He should be on this page, which is login. So again, if user exists, render the component hero, which we just made. Otherwise, render the login component, which is this one. And user is only gonna exist if you either sign up or login. So right now we can test if this works. So for example, we're on the sign up page, and if we write something, click sign up, we can see the error message. And let's do test@gmail.com, and then let's type password. Password should be at least 6 characters. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Click sign up. And there we go, we're on the home page. And if we go to the Firebase and we reload the page here, we're gonna be able to see that test@gmail.com. And then if we click logout, everything's cleared. Now we have an account, so now we can go to sign in, add an account here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is my password. Click sign in, and we're back again. So that would be it for this tutorial, guys. I'll make sure to leave all the links in the description for styles, Firebase, and everything else you guys need. I hope you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.